Simple ones. Can we take?
I would like to. Yeah.
I'll see you then. Let's agree on an appropriate length of time to be at Phil's soiree.
Just one of my... Hey, I've been looking to give you some privacy.
Fine.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, this new relationship between Maeve and Sophia comes as Maeve continues to deal with significant past trauma, including the passing of her son Wilder and her complicated history with her ex-wife Nicole. If you guys don't know this too, have a very interesting story. But before we get into further details, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. So I have done a part 1 review regarding their story, how they got together, how they got introduced to one another. So basically that was the first part breakdown. So for today, I will be continuing, the story recap. And yes, we will be moving forward to part 2. To be honest, at the beginning, I would say I loved the, the pressure that, in this case, Sophia have applied, to pursue Maeve. But now moving forward to the second part of the story, I definitely am starting to doubt, if this is actually going to work out because of a very, very, very surprising element that came to the front when it came to basically the situation of Sophia and her reality when it comes to her love life. It definitely caught me by surprise, and it definitely also caught, Maeve by surprise as well. So you can see that, they're just working together, there's a chemistry, between the two. You can see that, Maeve, she is still hesitating to give, Sophia a chance because, she's just afraid that she's going to be hurt again, or she, thinks it's going to lead to another disappointment. Obviously, Sophia, she's very patient, she always shows interest in Maeve no matter what. But also at the same time, they have to, how can we say, they have to manage also a co-working environment where they have to know how to separate, them being doctors, them being in the medical field, them working together in the same department, and also them having, this, romantic interest in one another. There was a point where you see that Sophia, I feel like she was starting to get overwhelmed by the fact that, Maeve is very like how indecisive if she wants or she doesn't want, her in this case. So they had this conversation where they basically more of the story. You can see that they fell out for a bit, but obviously that didn't last long. Later on, they had a conversation, and you can see that, in this case, Maeve, she asked Sophia to go on a date, so that was actually their first exclusive date. So while, Maeve, she was so nervous to go on the date, Sophia, she was super confident, ready, just to have a great time with her. While they were at the date, at the dinner date, you can just see, Maeve, she started to discover a lot of things about Sophia that she didn't know prior. Basically, the fact that Sophia, she doesn't drink, she does normally vegan, but at that day she was willing to switch things up, to keep, Maeve company. So just a lot of interesting, things, and also the big surprise of it all. While they were at the dinner, you can see that Maeve ends up seeing a wedding ring on Sophia's, finger, and obviously she was confused. And then later on, she just asked her like straight up, "Is that a wedding ring?" And there is when Sophia told her everything. And yes, Sophia is married. She is in an open marriage. Obviously, that caught Maeve by surprise. She was super disappointed because she just knew that, wow, once again, I'm just gonna get myself into a situation where I'm gonna end up getting hurt. So the dinner kind of ended very, very awkwardly. Then later on, they had a conversation in the hospital where Sophia basically explained to her the rules of her marriage with her wife. So moral of the story, her wife doesn't live, with her. They have a long distance relationship. There are certain boundaries and certain rules that they have when it comes to their open marriage. So basically, most of the important things is they have to communicate, they have to be honest with one another, and they cannot let, their relationships outside their marriage affect what they have going on. And that already for me was a very, very big red flag. But because what happens when, in this case, her partner, her wife comes back to come spend time with her, how will that leave, Maeve? Obviously, By that point, Maeve, she wasn't very convinced. She was still thinking a lot about it. Obviously, she didn't reject, Sophia, because she was still hesitating if she's going to be part of this, if she wants not to be part of this. Obviously, Sophia, she was very transparent with her. She didn't hide anything from her. She basically left the ball in Maeve's court. And obviously, Maeve, she was having her doubts. Then later on, they had another conversation during a situation that happened with one of the doctors. And basically, Maeve told Sophia that, one thing that she likes about her is, so there was something that really, really caught, the fact that she sees people, she can notice people without people notice themselves. And she felt like this is exactly what Sophia did with her as well. So during that conversation, Maeve told, Sophia that, hey, maybe I want to give us a try. Maybe we should see what will happen between us. And, she basically, more of the story, she just gave, Sophia the green flag for them to go on and pursue something. Yeah, so this so far what we got from them. Then later on, they went to this hospital party together. There was also a situation like a very cute moment. But guys, I am worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I'm super happy now that, obviously, Maeve got herself in a complicated open marriage situation with Sophia, because like I said, what will happen if in this case, Sophia's partner comes back for a visit to come spend time with her? How will that, leave her? Because in this case, you can see Sophia, she translates a lot of security despite her being married. She transmit, confidence. She's not like playing games. Like, she's basically being very transparent with Maeve regarding the situation. And Maeve is choosing to stay in the situation and pursuing this. But obviously, it's something new, it's something fresh. What happens when Maeve definitely ends up falling in love with Sophia and wanting something more than just got the connection and physical? Will Sophia be able to leave or, exit her marriage? Will she choose Maeve? So at this point, there's just a lot of questions that will be unsolved. But so far, I will definitely leave a big question mark in their relationship. Hopefully, I don't know what's gonna happen. Will Maeve also open herself to dating other people? Because since Sophia is married, will she limit herself to only dating Sophia? Will she end up, having maybe also a co-situation with Sophia and be like, okay, you're married, we seeing each other, but I'm gonna see other people as well because of the situation that we are in. We have no idea which direction their relationship will lead us to. But one thing I will say is that we will have to stay tuned and see what is going to happen, because things are definitely far from over when it comes to this couple. It's only getting better and better and more intense. And I also like the fact that they have a different storyline. It's not like just a regular, a women that fall in love, meet each other, and happy ending. They're actually showing that they do have trials and tribulations that they have to go through. There are things that they have to figure out, if they want to be together. There are challenges in the way. Will it be worth it? Will it not? Like, a lot of question marks. And that's definitely one of the things that I am appreciating about their story so far. So it's called Shortland Street. Go ahead, go watch, go support. I will definitely be keeping you guys updated. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Until the next recap of their story, and goodbye.